Welcome on board the Newstrack. An eye-opening expose by the India Today Special Investigation Team from Ground Zero Hathras is my top focus on the Newstrack tonight. "25 days of Hathras probe. Stunning UP police confession. UP cops admit to lapses.
जो है वर्मा की क्राइम सीन पे नहीं गए, उनने भेजा एसएसआई साहब। कौन इसको? एसएसआई जगदीप सिंह जो सस्पेंड हो गए, उनको भेजा, वो भी गए, वो भी हेल्प में ले गए होंगे बात को।
Was there an attempt to cover up?
नाम भी बढ़ जाते, धारा ना बढ़ाते, वो भी गैंगरेप नहीं बढ़ाना चाहिए।
Operation Hathras, top focus on Newstrack. The Hathras case of the murder of a young Dalit girl started out as an alleged case of gang rape. From there, an effort is being made to turn the story on its head and project it as a case of honor killing. And links are being drawn between the Popular Front of India and the Bhim Army. The charge has been that the PFI sent 100 crore rupees into the Bhim Army accounts. This morning I got a call from a top enforcement directorate official. He says this is patently untrue, that the ED is doing no such probe and that all these reports floated in the name of his agency are completely malicious. What in the world is going on? 25 days since the Hathras local police received the complaint of alleged gang rape by a 19-year-old girl and her family. Since then, the case has seen many twists and turns, from a midnight cremation to the UP police declaring that there was no rape at all. India Today, in a bid to get to the bottom of this entire matter, investigated the cops who carried out the initial investigation in Hathras, and what these cops revealed are stunning lapses on the part of the UP police. Jamshed Khan and Nitin Jain of the India Today Special Investigation Team with this exclusive report.
Groaning in pain.
कब? एक बार और रेप करने की कोशिश की थी पहले, लेकिन क्या हुआ? भाग आए थे। कुछ हुआ कि नहीं? अच्छा अच्छा।
Naming her attackers on video. Denied dignity in death. As anger simmered and spilled onto the streets, India Today's Special Investigation Team probed the Hathras police to determine how they responded to the wails of the 19-year-old Dalit victim. This is Dinesh Kumar Verma, then Inspector of the Chandpa police station, under whose jurisdiction the alleged gang rape took place on September the 14th. As the outrage grew, he and several other police officers were suspended earlier this month. In the two meetings that our investigative journalists held with him, Verma admitted that he didn't even visit the victim, the primary responsibility of any three-star officer dealing with a heinous crime.
अच्छा ये बताओ सर, आप अपनी तरफ से नेग्लिजेंस क्या मानते हो इसमें पूरे केस?
नेग्लिजेंस भी हमारा तो ही ठहरा है, तो साथ नहीं गए, देखने नहीं गए, इलाज नहीं कराया, तुमने दिखाई नहीं मिला, ये नहीं और मेरे तरफ से
No matter that the injured victim in her video statements had consistently alleged sexual assault. Verma confessed that he's not in favor of slapping rape charges on the suspects, which were added later.
ये सीओ साहब से क्या चूक हो गई? आप कह रहे थे प्रेशर में आ गए।
लड़की ने बयान दिए, हवा उड़ रही थी, चार दरिंदे ने नाम बढ़ा दी, एक बेटा दी।
पहले वाले सीए साहब थे, यादव जी, दूसरे वालों ने बढ़ाए, ब्रह्म सिंह जी ने। तो आपके हिसाब से नहीं बढ़ाने चाहिए?
नाम भी बढ़ जाते, धारा ना बढ़ाते, वो भी गैंगरेप नहीं बढ़ाना चाहिए।
गैंगरेप गलत बढ़ा दिया।
With the Hathras case exposing age-old caste fault lines, the then area inspector confesses that if he had his way, he could have filed a case against the victim's family.
मदद ये कर देते, ये कहते साहब इसी ने मारी तो उसके पैर फट जाते, एक भी व्यक्ति कह देता कि इसने मारी तो फिर लोग खाने छोड़ भाग जाते, और मुझे चौकीदार की तरफ तहरीर लिखनी पड़ती और उनके खिलाफ देते, माँ बाप के खिलाफ मैं लिख के दे रहा हूँ।
And who ordered the victim's unceremonious cremation? In a separate meeting with our investigative journalists, the suspended inspector claims orders came from the district administration because they feared protests.
कमिश्नर साहब ने, कमिश्नर डीएम साहब, हाँ, क्योंकि उनकी मंशा ये थी डेड बॉडी यहाँ रख लें, हम डेड बॉडी जलाने नहीं देंगे, मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ को यहीं बुलाएंगे हम, तब डेड बॉडी जलेगी।
ये किसका था?
परवारी जमना, और ये हिमायती होगा। इस वजह से लोग रात को
ये कैसे पता चला?
और ये लाइव रहती ना बियर पुलिस,
अच्छा,
तो उसको दूर करने के लिए स्टेट बना लेना पड़ा।
तो ये फैसला किसका था? कमिश्नर साहब और डीएम साहब? कमिश्नर
वो अच्छा अधिकारियों का ही था, लेकिन झेलना तो कुछ भी पड़ा।
India Today next probed another police personnel involved in the case. Constable Jamil Ahmed Khan accompanied the victim while she was transported to Delhi from Aligarh and came back with her body. He too admitted his superiors didn't follow set protocols in such a sensitive case.
उनको नहीं इतना एम हो पाया, नए नए 20-25 दिन रहे, उनको जानकारी नहीं हो पाई, जो है
वर्मा जी क्राइम सीन पे नहीं गए।
क्राइम सीन पे नहीं गए। उनने भेजा एसएसआई साहब,
कौन इसको?
एसएसआई जगवीर सिंह जो सस्पेंड हो गए, उनको भेजा, वो भी गए, वो भी हल्के में ले गए होंगे बात को। और जो एसआईटी टीम है वो बार बार ये पूछ रही कि आपने महिला को क्यों नहीं गए, जबकि यहाँ महिला गई है, उसकी जीडी में नहीं दिखा पा रहे हैं।
8 years after the gruesome Nirbhaya case shook the country, police have yet to be sensitized adequately to the new rape laws that came in its wake. Old attitudes still persist. With Jamshed Khan and Nitin Jain, this is India Today's special investigation team.
You know, so there are multiple things playing out simultaneously. You've got the UP government, through unnamed sources, claiming that the Enforcement Directorate has found 100 crore rupees going into the bank account of the Bhim Army from the PFI, money coming from Mauritius. The Enforcement Directorate calling in panic, saying the ED has done no such probe, that this is being run falsely in their name. And you've got on camera now Dinesh Kumar Verma, the inspector of the Chandpa police station, under whose jurisdiction this attack took place, telling India Today cameras about the negligence that he and his associates committed. My negligence lies in not seeing the victim, not providing treatment to her, not sending a constable from Hathras to Aligarh. And this is coming from Verma himself. Will we see a conclusion, which is a meaningful, fair conclusion in this case? And ultimately, and I want to make this very clear at the outset, we are not judge and jury. We don't know what the truth is, but we spoke to the inspector. What he said, especially where he's incriminating himself, is significant. He's revealing the lapses. He's talking about what he should have done but didn't do. So where does this case go from here? Joining me on this broadcast, representing the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party, its national spokesperson RP Singh, squaring off against him, representing the opposition Congress Party, its spokesperson Pawan Khera. For a perspective from the Uttar Pradesh Police, I'm joined by former Director General of Police Vikram Singh. And last but not least, I have Yogi Adityanath's biographer, Shantanu Gupta. I want to go across to Vikram Singh first as a non-partisan former Director General of Police. You just heard from Dinesh Kumar Verma at the outset. You also heard from other officials who were part of this investigation, Constable Jamil Ahmed, explaining how they didn't take the body all the way to the hospital, how they didn't even go. You know, one of the people who we just had said he wasn't in favor of imposing rape charges. He was willing to favor the suspects, that the area inspector didn't even visit the crime scene, that they didn't take the victim to the hospital. What does all of this reveal, according to you, Vikram Singh, about the initial approach of the UP police?
Mr. Rahul Kanwal, this is nothing short of an extrajudicial confession, both by suspended Inspector Dinesh Verma and Constable Jamil Ahmed. At least they are men enough to admit that they had committed these serious lapses. One, not registering the case immediately and under the appropriate sections of law. Number two, not visiting the scene of crime. Number three, not asking a Mahila constable to accompany the injured at that point of time, the deceased, to the hospital, and also not taking adequate precautions. Dinesh Verma also mentioned that pressure. A police officer is supposed to work independently and as per the dictates of law and not under frivolous and extraneous pressures. That may be an afterthought. But whatever be the case, I would say that there are serious lapses. And as far as cremation of the body is concerned, I think he was decent enough to say that the instructions came from the district authorities. I would say they came from even higher ups. And there is nothing wrong in that. If the DGP and the Principal Secretary Home give instructions, it is well within their powers to give instructions. But then they should own up that the cremation took place under their verbal instructions. Anyway, now that you have the SIT, you also have the CBI who will investigate in course of time. The truth will come out. But the fact remains, whatever Jamil Ahmed Constable and Dinesh Verma have said have to be incorporated in any inquiry or investigation, because this is incontrovertible and would amount to extrajudicial confession. Rahul.
R.P. Singh, the former Director General of Police, calling this an extrajudicial confession, not registering a case, not visiting the scene of crime, no female constable, not taking the injured all the way to the hospital, leaving the injured at the district boundary. You know, these are very, very serious lapses on the part of the police that was in charge of law and order in Hathras.
Rahul, I accept every part of your whatever investigation you've done, but I don't accept that the case was not followed up. The night the rape happened or the incident happened, and next that very evening the girl was taken to hospital in Aligarh Muslim University, where she was put on treatment. And
but you heard what the constable said. His job was to take her all the way from Hathras to Aligarh to the hospital. Instead, they just left the victim, who's badly injured, at the district boundary and just left her there. Dekh lo kya karna hai. Now we're off.
Sir, Rahul, thank you so much. But I'll put your reporter on job to check whether the girl was treated that very evening itself in the Aligarh Muslim University Hospital or not. So when you have your input, I also have my input, where I'm saying with complete confidence that the girl was treated that very night in the hospital. I'm not defending the policeman, and I'm not saying that your report is wrong. I mean, this all need to be investigated. It's under investigation by the local SIT, and ultimately it will go to CBI. And our government has even accepted that they are prepared to go for Supreme Court-led CBI inquiry. I mean, we are open to that.
Okay, so Pavan Khera, here's what the BJP...
Can I complete?
Yes, go on, sir.
So another second. So this is one set of sting operation investigation done by you. The other set of sting operation investigation done by other channels. So all need to be investigated. I'm saying I'm with you. The justice should be given to that rape victim at all costs. That's how the 4 boys was arrested immediately. They are still in judicial. They're still in custody, and I'm hopeful that the fair investigation will happen and justice will come to that girl.
Okay, so Pavan Khera, the BJP can and will say in its defense that the victim named 4 people in her dying declaration. It's not as if the Uttar Pradesh government didn't act on that complaint. They moved in with speed. Those 4 accused are currently in jail. And the SIT now and the CBI later is doing a thorough probe. And there is no reason at this moment to imagine that what we've unraveled in our investigation is not what will emerge in the SIT investigation or the CBI investigation. We shouldn't put the cart before the horse and let the actual investigators complete their investigation without prejudging what they may or may not do. Pavan Khera.
Rahul, what your channel shows are shocking revelations. A series of missteps, you may call them lapses, have taken place right from the word go. The girl, the victim, is taken in an auto rickshaw from the police station to the hospital. The initial report at the district hospital does suggest forced penetration. Forensics are done 11 days after the incident, whereas 96 hours is what they should be done to collect samples. One after the other, forced cremation. Then you try and get PR agencies to plant cover-up stories. Aapsi ranjish thi, affair tha, you are trying to destroy her reputation. They knew each other. Obviously, it's a small village. People will know each other. And 94% of rapes are done by acquaintances or close relatives. I mean, this is data. So what are they even, then PFI angle, then the ED angle, all kinds of angles. It can't just, the buck has to stop at Lucknow or maybe beyond Lucknow. It can't just be collector ko aapne keh diya, SP ko keh diya, DIG ko. No, it's much, much more than them. You can't just blame one department or one level of one department.
Okay, Shantanu Gupta, from the word go, in this case, there have been lapses. And what's happened just over the last 48 hours, that first we had unnamed sources reveal that 100 crore rupees went into the bank accounts of the Bhim Army, money coming from the Popular Front of India, apparently routed from Mauritius. Then we had enforcement directorate officials on the ground in Lucknow, in Delhi, calling in panic, saying, but we've done no such probe, we found nothing of the sort, so please do not run this story. So from the first day to now, it seems like lots of lapses, one after the other, leading to the question whether these are deliberate, whether instead of trying to get to the bottom of what actually happened, an effort is being made to try and spin it in a way that somehow the victim is to blame, somehow the victim's family is to blame, somehow this is a case of honor killing, which is what a lot of people are saying, without any evidence to substantiate that charge, without looking at the actual weight of evidence that presents itself. Shantanu Gupta.
Rahul, the way the irresponsible reporting was done by certain channels, I will take any string done by any channel with a big pinch of salt, with a handful of salt, not even a pinch of salt. So I don't have any extra reason to believe that your string is the correct string. Is it the correct Dinesh Verma? Or Dinesh Verma is not here to basically retaliate what you're saying. So having said that, in fact, when I went to the village 4 days back, I was surprised that the accused house, which is hardly 70 meters away, every second house have a different narrative. Why media never shown me that narrative? Why the videos which are available in every mobile of that village, in every local reporter's camera, why they were not accessible to any big media channel? Were they too busy in tutoring to the Karyakartas of Congress? Were they too busy tutoring the brother? Which kind of videos do they want? Or they're too busy telling you 25 lakh ka 50 lakh denge? So I think let's not be James Bonds here. Let SIT, CBI do their job. I think I'll request every channel, please stop these sting operations, because this is giving some picture one way and some picture other way. Let CBI and SIT do their job, because that's why then police will start also saying, okay, we have to defend, and instead of probe, they will be managing their narrative rather than doing the probe.
No, but what do you have to say about the fact that initially, Shantanu Gupta, it is suggested that the ED has carried out some big probe, that the PFI has been routing money into the bank accounts of the Bhim Army, and then the enforcement director turns around and says, but this is not true. There are no 100 crores. In fact, there is no such probe, and we found nothing of the sort.
So, to my understanding, there is no party official or any government official talked about this. But yeah, there is news that PFI people were arrested, and the real PFI people got arrested. In the December NTCA raid, after that 25 PFI people first and 105 PFI people later arrested. So this is a tendency in UP. Whenever there is a ruckus, PFI funds the group, whichever is active there. That time some other group during the NTCA raid, and now Bhim Army. When I went to the house, I stood inside the victim's house for 15 minutes, just silent like a fly on the wall. If some channel says the narrative which family is comfortable with, it's fine. If the channel asks a very tough question, all of a sudden the 6, 7 boys are coming. So मैं वाल्मीकि का बेटा हूँ, आप किससे बात कर रही हैं? When I inquired who those boys are, they're Bhim Army boys. They're they have a narrative shield there. If you try to do any other question, that where were you not happy with the relationship with the boy, they will all of a sudden 5-6 boys will come. So there is a very narrative is guarded there very smartly in this house. Just go there and stand there for half an hour. You will understand.
So here's the point, and the word that Shantanu Gupta refers to again and again is narrative, and that's my deepest concern. What is it that is our primary concern here? Should it be the facts establishing what really happened, who's to blame for what happened, why it happened, and then punishing those who were responsible? Or is it to spin a narrative which either favors or disfavors the various parties involved? Because one of the narratives that's being spun is that the victim never mentioned the fact that she was raped till the time the final video came out right before she was moved to the Safdarjung hospital. Now, this has been put out by several well-known people claiming that, initially in the 2 videos that she put out, she never mentioned rape. She never mentioned that she was forced upon. So what we did is very simple. We just looked at the raw, unnarrated, original videos from the first and the second video that came out. We heard every word. We looked up the local dialect, and we just tried to understand, did the girl only in the 3rd video, and I want all our guests and every one of our viewers to look at this very carefully, did the victim only in the 3rd video mention that she was being raped? Or did she mention that, uske saath zabardasti hui? And remember, this is a rural context, so when somebody says zabardasti hui, it means somebody tried to force himself on that victim. Did she just say the 3rd time round, or did she say something suggesting rape in the 1st and the 2nd video itself? So just sit back as we give you an opportunity now to watch the 3 videos and then decide for yourself what she said and what she did.
Anger and repulsion.
झूठा इल्जाम लगायो तो आरोप लगायो बालक ने झूठो साची। मेरा लव कुछ बेटा चारा काट रहे थे अपने खेत में, मेरा बेटा निर्दोष है।
Denials.
8 से 11:30 बजे तक वो हमारे प्लांट पर काम करने आता था। उस दिन वो वहीं पर था, काम कर रहा था।
Alibis. In jail pending trial. The 4 suspects in the Hathras case have instead blamed the victim's family for her death. Narratives have also been floated she did not allege rape in the first place. Remember, the alleged attack on the Dalit teen took place on September 14th. Police tapped rape charges against the 4 suspects 8 days later. But a close examination of her video statements reveals she consistently alleged sexual assault from the day of the attack. This clip was apparently recorded on September 14th itself. The victim groaned she was strangled because she resisted the forced advances of her attackers.
जबरदस्ती ना करने रहती तासू।
अच्छा। कहाँ दबाया गला?
चाटिया में से कटाई।
कहाँ से?
कले पे।
हाथों से?
हाथों से।
क्या हुआ? किसने मारा आपको?
In this video from the Bagla Government Hospital in Hathras, the victim identifies the accused, says she was dragged, forced upon and strangled when she had gone to pick the fodder.
कोई बात नहीं, अपने बात से ले गए थे। फिर हमने जब ले रही थी तो वो खटे अंदर ले गया मुझे और गला दबा दिया। मेरी रिश्तेदार दबा देती करने की कोशिश की, मैंने मना करी, सोच के गला दबा दिया बस।
And this clip filmed at the Aligarh hospital on September 22nd. She not only names her suspects but alleges they attempted to rape her before as well.
कब? एक बार और रेप करने की कोशिश की थी पहले, लेकिन क्या हुआ? भाग आए थे। कुछ हुआ कि नहीं? अच्छा। अच्छा, ये दोनों मिले हुए हैं, तो उस समय तो बच गए आप, फिर उस दिन जिस दिन आपकी चोट लगी है उस दिन रेप हुआ है? अच्छा, दोनों ने किया था, कोई और भी था?
वो दोनों थे और बाकी सब भाग गए थे।
अच्छा, बाकी सब भाग गए थे।
मम्मी को देख के।
अच्छा, मम्मी को देख के भाग गए थे।
A new anti-rape law that India adopted in 2013 not only expanded the definition of rape, but also placed greater accountability on authorities to act swiftly on complaints of sexual violence, verbal or written. Old attitudes still persist. The way police responded to her wails suggests law enforcement is yet to be sensitized adequately to address violence as women experience it. Bureau Report, India Today.
So in that full statement you just heard, first on the 14th of September, the victim says she resisted forced advances. In the second video, she says, tried to force themselves on me. In the third video, on the 22nd of September, she says, they had tried to rape me earlier. I ran away, and that's how I got saved. Now, RP Singh, if you see the chatter put out on social media, Twitter, WhatsApp, by a lot of supporters of the government in Uttar Pradesh, it would suggest, and some of them party bearers of your party as well, office bearers of your party as well, it would suggest that the girl thought of her being raped almost as an afterthought and did so only on the 22nd of September. The problem though is that that is a selective representation of what she said. If you just listen to the whole video which is available, even on the 14th of September she says she resisted forced advances. Second video she says they tried to force themselves on me, and even in the third time. So she's talking about force. She may not have used the word rape, but this is a rural context. If you force yourself on someone, the girl who's the victim, she's lying on the ground, she's badly off at that time, she's suggesting that they were trying to force themselves on her. Why then try and discredit the victim?
Rahul, I've seen your video right now, and I've seen them earlier also. I can't vouch for what your videos, whether they're edited or not edited, or they're raw videos or not. But yes, because since the final version was that her dying version was that she was raped, that's how the poor boys are in, and then the inquiry is on. But please, I'll appreciate, along with this, go through the first report which was filed by the brother also. It says something different. And to my friend from Congress, my very dear friend, Mr. Pawan Khera, sir, you're talking about a PR agency. I don't know what are you dreaming about, but let's talk about the fact. The gentleman named Shiraj Jeevan, who on ground, there are videos, even this channel has shown those videos, where he's saying, "Main haath kaat dunga." He was trying to create a caste violence. So, don't.
Okay, so, I'm very happy to talk about this other character, but right now my greatest interest is in the victim, her dignity, and the probe. Okay, and that's what I want to focus on. So, Shantanu Gupta, we've heard from many people who don't like the manner in which events unfolded, that the girl mentioned that she was raped only in the third video. Now, technically, that's true. She doesn't use the word rape or gang rape before this, but she talks about resisting forced advances. She talks about trying to force themselves on me, which is that victim in a very bad state suggesting that the boys were trying to push themselves on her and she was trying to resist that. So why then try and discredit the victim, Shantanu Gupta?
First of all, Rahul, I'm happy that finally these videos are coming to mainstream channels with all this trend. These videos are available to local journalists 15 days back. I don't know why the mainstream channels were, maybe they were busy in tutoring, and rather than finding such important videos. So you're right. She's making a jabardasti. She's using the word jabardasti in the very first video also. But again, I will not. It'll be surprising for me to comprehend that you and your channel's team understand more dialect, more local dialect than the mother and the brother. They also heard the same statement and gave a written complaint based on what they heard from their sister or their daughter, that it was an assault case and only Sandeep was there, right? She was talking in the first video, 3 names were added only on 22nd, and in your channel only and other channels also, there is a guy who runs a milk factory saying one of them, Ramu, was not even there. And with the mobile location, the CCTV camera, with a lot of people who came there for milk distribution, it can be easily be justified. It can be easily be validated, right? So if one name can be wrong, maybe other names can be wrong. Nobody is discrediting a woman. A lot of time is saying, see, a disenfranchised girl, a 19-year-old girl can come under the influence of what her brother is telling, what her mother is telling, what her father is telling. And the family might be in the influence of Bhim Army, the way I have seen how the narrative is guarded in that house when I stood there for 15-20 minutes.
Okay, so let's first get the former Director General of Police to respond to this. In the most compelling argument of the arguments made by R.P. Singh and Shantanu Gupta is that, okay, so if you're saying you spoke to locals, tried to understand what she's saying in the local dialect, the brother and the mother most certainly understood it without needing translations, and they then registered an assault case against Sandeep, who now we know was in touch with this victim because there are call records which are now in the public domain, and the family didn't mention rape or zabardasti or any kind of gang rape till the 22nd. And therefore, why did the family not understand these videos? How would you respond, Vikram Singh, to these questions that are being asked by R.P. Singh and Shantanu Gupta?
Mr. Rahul, I would say in 36 of my service in the police, there was only one instance in my career when a lady came and described how the rape had actually happened. Otherwise, it was zabardasti. Not even the word balatkar was ever used by ladies in front of me ever. Please understand that the trauma that the family was going, it is not unnatural for them to add what actually had happened, maybe after some time. I have no reason to disbelieve, one, what the deceased is saying on the videotape, what also is borne out by the medical fact that there were injuries in the anal passage and the vaginal passage. Number three, that there was injuries on the back and also on the lower back, which happen only when somebody forces himself upon the other person. How do you explain these 4 injuries? And the fact of the matter is, whatever may be the milk factory man was saying, the evidentiary value of the tape that you have just played out, and also what is borne out by the medical report also goes to show that the police investigator has no option but to charge sheet a matter of gang rape, and whatever may be the alibi or the other considerations, I, professionally speaking, would strongly recommend that the charge sheet be made. No other evidence is required.
Pawan Khera, now Shantanu Gupta alleges, and we've seen the Bhim Army very strong on the ground. We've seen Congress leaders head there as well. We've seen the brother and the mother first register a complaint of assault on the 14th, turning this into gang rape on the 22nd. It's a legitimate question. Did the Congress and the Bhim Army and other opposition parties and vested interests put this family under pressure? Aage badho, hum tumhare saath hain. You know, we will make this a big deal. We will stand with you. And therefore, what was earlier a case of assault later became a case of alleged gang rape. Pawan Khera.
Rahul, maybe I belong to the old school, just like most of us here are. Why are we bent upon supporting those who have been named in the FIR? Why? Even if we are in government, did you see our government in Delhi supporting the rapists of Nirbhaya? I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional right now. My friend Shantanu and my friend R.P. Singh are arguing in this. Nahi sahab, ye nahi hua, wo nahi hua. Arey sahab, let the investigation take place. Please take her dying declaration, for God's sake. Please take that seriously. Why are we sitting and supporting those 4 culprits? And what is wrong if a political party...
I'm sorry, Pawan. You are trying to put words into my mouth. Pawan,
sir, may I please, I did not interrupt Rahul.
Okay, no, 1 second. I need to intervene. I cannot allow this conversation to degenerate. Both faders go down. R.P. Singh, I promise to come back to you in 20 seconds. Allow those 20 seconds for Pawan to complete.
Rahul, if a political party or a social organization stands in solidarity with the weak, with the victim, you can't say we are trying to instigate them. अरे हमारा काम है. आप छत्तीसगढ़ में भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग गए लास्ट वीक एक रेप विक्टिम के पास. हमने नहीं कहा कि आप उनको इंस्टिगेट कर रहे हैं. That was what you should have done, and I'm glad you did that. Please don't do that. Don't support the culprit.
Okay, so RP Singh, the new post-Nirbhaya rape laws say if you have the dying declaration of a victim, that is the gospel. It is to the accused to prove that they are innocent. The girl has already said what she had to, and that's considered of evidentiary value. Why then seek to discredit or question what the victim is saying to suggest that maybe dal mein kuch kala hai?
Rahul, I 100% go by your one part of it where you said that the crime declaration should be taken as a final word, and the other party has to prove, the people who have committed the crime has to prove themselves. Otherwise, I'm 100% on it. That's why all the 4 guys are behind bar. They are behind jail and are being investigated. But as for saying that dal mein kuch kala hai, dal mein kyun kala hai? I mean, people were arrested, everything was being taken care, the girl was taken to hospital. So दाल में कहाँ काला है? दाल में काला मैं बताता हूँ कहाँ पर है, आप सुनिए। दाल में काला इस बात पे है कि वहां पर शरारत की जा रही थी, वहां पर जानकर इंस्टिगेट किया जा रहा था, वहां पर लोग भेजे जा रहे थे भड़काने के लिए, ये दाल में काला है। वहां पर इसको एक पॉलिटिकल, मेरे दोस्त कह रहे कि आपके हमने जाकर ये नहीं कहा हम हाथ काट देंगे, आंख निकाल देंगे, दंगा करो, देखी जाएगी जो होगा करो। लोगों को भड़काकर आग में धकेलना, आग में झोंकना, ये हमारा काम नहीं है। That's not our work. Our work as a principal, even opposition party or even as any political party, is to go on ground, understand the situation. And
so I'm running out of time, but since Shantanu Gupta had his hand up, I'm going to give him 20 seconds to make a quick interjection. Shantanu.
I think I just want. I think I never in last 30 minutes said I'm supporting the accused. I'm just saying, which is at the basis of the law also, that no innocent should be convicted. So I'm just saying, just hear out the other party also. Be the letter by Sandeep or be the alibi that Ramu was away, and if Ramu's name is wrong, then maybe other names can be wrong. And when every villager is telling that between both the Sandeep, the brother Sandeep and the accused Sandeep, they were altercation in the past. So there is a possibility, just explore that.
Okay, Pavan Kera, 20 seconds, I'm completely out of time.
Rahul, I have to end up making a political statement. From Kathua to Unnao to Hathras, why is it that my friends in the BJP are always standing with the rapists? I'm sorry. It's not done. You cannot victim shame.
Why don't you pick up issue in Rajasthan? Why don't you go to Balrampur? Because the guy who raped was a Muslim. I have to say, sir, I'm sorry, I cannot do this. But you are forcing me to say that you didn't go to Balrampur because the boy was a Muslim. You are trying to build up a false policy. You did never utter a word for the Adivasi girl.
I can't allow this to degenerate, because the moment the debate goes to the level that it has, it's the kind of thing you see in a banana republic. It's not what you see in a civilized society. We try and raise the standard of our reportage, a high quality debate where we hear all points of view, we listen to both sides, and then we leave it to you, our viewer, to decide who you think has the more compelling argument. But all I wish to say in conclusion is this: we don't know what the facts are. We just hope that those who are responsible, whether it is the SIT or the CBI team later, make a genuine effort to come up with the truth, not to come up with their version of the convenient truth, but the actual truth. And if people need to be punished and held responsible, that is done as well. Because at the end of the day, one young girl, no matter what her caste, no matter what her creed, no matter what her family, she's dead. She could be my daughter, she could be your sister, she could be any of us, and that's not okay. And our primary interest is in ensuring that that young girl gets justice, because that really could be anyone we know. This is where I slip into a quick break. When we come back, we'll here on board the Newstrack. The Mumbai police has now summoned the Chief Financial Officer of Republic Television to explain charges leveled by the accused in the BARC ratings fixing scam. From the accused to the witness, multiple people, according to the Mumbai police, have come forward to say that Republic Television was carrying out an elaborate bribing racket to artificially inflate its ratings, and that is part of a key probe by the Mumbai police. Here is all that happened in the Mumbai police's investigation today.
जो गुने के इन्वेस्टिगेशन में जो अब सामने आ रहे हैं, रिपब्लिक टीवी के वहाँ काम करने वाले लोग या उस कंपनी के डायरेक्टर्स या प्रमोटर्स इन्वॉल्व होने के चांसेस हैं.
A police statement. damning evidence. And now confirmation from those involved. The facts are out in public. Republic TV can't deny anymore that it was buying viewers. Republic TV's allegations against India Today TV have also been thoroughly exposed. An FIR filed on October 6th had named India Today as well. But Mumbai police has categorically ruled out that India Today was involved in TRP manipulation. Police said a probe based on the FIR found neither the accused nor witnesses could substantiate the allegations. This was further established when BARC, the rating agency, told police that no suspicious activity was noticed regarding India Today. BARC found no suspicious spike in viewer ratings. Mumbai Joint Police Commissioner Milind Bhamre set the record straight on India Today's name being mentioned in the FIR.
Consequential investigation that proceeded, the evidences that were collected pointed the investigation towards Republic TV, Fakt Marathi and Box Cinema as having tried to fix some of the households through the accused.
Tejal Solanki is one of the people who was paid to watch Republic TV. She said at no stage was she contacted with regard to India Today.
मेरे चैनल मेरे टीवी में आता ही नहीं क्योंकि वो जो बैलेंस में भरवाती हूँ उसमें इंडिया टुडे जैसी कोई चैनल आती ही नहीं है।
आपको कभी भी कोई भी चैनल के लिए आपने पैसे नहीं मिले और आप इंडिया टुडे भी नहीं है आपके घर में? नहीं, कभी नहीं देखा?
कभी भी नहीं देखा।
The prime accused in the case, Vishal Bhandari, is a former employee of Hansa Research Agency, which was entrusted to install and monitor meters by BARC. Bhandari has admitted to police that he was rigging and bribing households to watch Republic. Of the 100 households on his list, 10 were checked, and it was found that all these households were playing Republic TV throughout the day for a payment of rupees 400 to 500 a month. Further investigations revealed that Bhandari was paid by two people called Bompali Rao Mistry and Rocky for this job. One of the people who was paid has said that Bhandari came to his house to take the meter reading and asked him if he watched Republic TV. When he said he did not watch Republic TV, he was offered money to keep the channel on. As of now, 4 people have been arrested. Mumbai police has said it would get to the root of the TRP fixing racket, and nobody, however big, would be spared.
Mumbai police is also getting details regarding other witnesses and other people at whose homes barometers were installed to check regarding ratings, regarding bribes being paid to watch particular channels, as the names of these 3 channels have emerged. Mumbai police could also summon the editor-in-chief of Republic TV and other senior officials who are suspected to be involved in this TRP scam. With camera person Kiran Sapkal, this is Divyesh Singh in Mumbai for India Today.
The India Today group has put out a statement clarifying questions that have been asked about its name appearing in the FIR that was before the Mumbai police. I now want to read out from the statement so that the perspective of the India Today police is before our viewers. And remember, instead of shouting from the rooftop and certifying our own integrity, honesty, we'd rather that there be a full-fledged probe and let the Mumbai police see who they find evidence against, because if you're crooked, you need to be worried. If you're not, you can stay very calm. Here is the India Today group statement that I will now read out to you over the next minute. There is a malicious campaign on right now by a few vested interests to drag the name of the India Today group into the TRP scandal that broke out on the 8th of October 2020. On that day, the Mumbai Police Commissioner Sandeep Singh held a press conference in which he alleged that the police had found evidence to suggest that Republic TV, Fakt Marathi and Box Cinema have been systematically manipulating the television rating points system. For 45 years, the India Today group has adhered to the highest standards of journalistic ethics. All our actions are guided by the desire to live up to the network's mission of being the gold standard of journalism. As the story unfolded, it emerged that the first information report with the Mumbai police included a complaint by an ex-employee of Hansa Research, the field agency of BARC, in which India Today and some other channels were accused of having manipulated TRP data. We had no prior knowledge of the FIR, nor do we have any dealings with the arrested accused. The Commissioner of Police confirmed this by issuing the following clarification. In the FIR, the name of India Today is mentioned. However, it is not substantiated by any of the accused or witnesses. On the contrary, the accused and witnesses are specifically mentioning the names of Republic TV, Fakt Marathi and Box Cinema. Thorough investigations are currently on. End quote. What we are currently seeing is an attempt by Republic Television, the main accused in the ratings manipulation case, to deflect the blame to other networks to hide their own criminal wrongdoing. The complaint in the FIR is being presented as the result of an investigation when the recorded statement of the police states otherwise. A sustained effort is being made to make the investigation murky by misrepresenting facts, coercing witnesses and organizing fake demonstrations. In a separate matter, BARC has fined India Today without presenting any concrete evidence or convening a proper judicial committee. The issue had been under contention with them, but since they have leaked the confidential hearings, the India Today group will consider appropriate legal recourse to get justice. The last paragraph is, at the India Today group, we believe we run a newsroom and not a courtroom. We do not think it is right for journalists to play judge, jury and executioner. We would rather wait for the police to complete their investigation and release their final findings. We welcome any probe the police may wish to conduct and are fully confident that we will come out unscathed, as we have not acted in any inappropriate manner. What we have right now is nothing but malicious, unsubstantiated allegations by a vested party. With that, we end this statement, and all we wish to say is this: if you've done nothing wrong, you have absolutely nothing to worry about, because no matter who you may speak to, only if there are money trails, money has been paid, ratings have been fixed, ratings have been artificially inflated, would that particular network go completely hysterical and crazy. Because if you've done nothing wrong, your conscience is clear, your bank accounts are clear, your finances are clear, then you can sit back and let any investigating agency do their job and say, if you have any questions, we are more than willing to answer. We don't need to go crazy because we've done nothing wrong. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you on the next edition of the Newstrack. Goodbye. Good night.